When Bob gives you shit, you try and make it work. So my hero options are horrible here. Mutinous is kind of playable, but there's no max, and I wanted to give Kael'thas a go. So Kael'thas, I never see it in my lobbies, I don't see people playing it. It's a tempo hero, which is just awful in this meta. We do start with a token, but I wanted to experiment this game, since I am with like playing a whack hero anyway. I'm gonna level here. Most of the games I post, I stay on 1 because it's just bonkers, but I've seen other people level as well, and my shop actually is kind of decent here. My goal was to go to 3 on 3, so level here again, go to tier 3, and then just use my hero power as tempo to stabilize and do something great. But I can't really pass up on a buffed road board. If you guys saw my best units video, that guy has actually the highest win rate on tier 2 on turn 3, so I think it's just a great card to hit early. I'm gonna guaranteed get gems every turn, and a 2-5 is not horrible, you know. Maybe I find some dragon scaling. I'll just have to pick up a spawn and a taunt here. I think that's fine. Like, I'm still strong, 42 HP. And this turn, I just want to level roll. I don't think I want to buff anything in my shop here. And then McKz is interesting, but I think I'm taking the pair. With a buff, it's also nutty. It's a 4-7. Like, I have a really strong board, I think, compared to most people now. And yeah, this game is going very unconventional. I'm actually holding my gem because, you know, I can get +1/+1 on road board. I think we always get a gem though, which we did. And if you find a dragon, I do have double whelp smuggler. So if I put a gem onto dragon, cool interaction is that it also gets the +2 health here. Find a Targosa, so we got rewarded. Now, it's not a bronze sword, but it will do for now. And I'm considering Cyclone, but there's also a pair on road board, which I think I just have to take here, since the gems actually are so much stats together with this double smuggler onto Targosa. Plus, you know, on top of that, it is a pair that I can eventually triple. So now you will see why I held a gem, what we got rewarded for. Targosa starts as a 4-4, I gem it twice, it becomes a 6-10. That's insane. The spawn also works with Targosa, gives it +1/+1, and then also the +2 HP extra from Smuggler. So I'm liking this game. I think this is a really cool interaction. I was freezing the Cyclone because I could just level by it with the buff, but since I do have a roll here and I could get a 4 drop, I decided to roll instead. We do hit the triple, but I don't want to triple into 5. 5s are horrible. This lobby is horrible for 5s, so I just take a mug, I guess. It's a little bit of stats, and then again on the Targosa, it's amazing. I'll go for a 6, trying to hit Kalecgos, or, you know, a spike, maybe not Dina even, I don't care. Just something that can make me work and make this board actually snowball into something. Now, we lost to Adora, who has just like early Light Fang, super crazy menagerie board. We're on 33 HP, but as you can see, we're still on top of the lobby. Like, I've just been playing really strong boards. I do have still 2 pairs, and one of them tripling into a 6. Almost seems strong, dealt 13 damage on tier 5 with a triple as well. So I might have to take the tempo option from this triple, we will see. And we do get, you know, Tralga, it's kind of whatever. Amalgadon gets 2 adepts unless I hold it on hand. I look for more tribes or brand. So I guess it's just Flat Tusk. Flat Tusk is overall, I think, better. It's less tempo this turn than Tralga, but in the long run it should be better, especially with these smugglers still, so I can focus all my buffs onto a dragon. Yeah, they have brand, they have Agam. That's another reason why I took Flat Tusk. If you find Agam, we can go into a very clean menagerie, since we do have 2 tribes already, and the Flat Tusk lined up. So maybe I can roll Agam and pivot into that instead. Now, I hit the second triple, so I can't complain. We kind of needed that to stabilize, or we needed to hit a spike on 5. And that is the Kalecgos. So, we're now in a position where we have a golden smuggler, a Kalecgos, so obviously a bunch of health that we can get onto dragons. We have no dragons on the board yet, so I'm just going to take the taunt. It's a battle cry and a dragon. Pretty great. My money works really well here to cycle the 2 other battle cries in the shop. Let's not forget, I still have the Flat Tusk, which isn't bad. It gives me like 3 gems a turn maybe if I do cycle battle cries. So I should be able to still get, you know, some tempo out of it with the smuggler. Now Agam is probably not going to be happening anymore, since I only have 3 tribes then. It could work, but with the Kalecgos I think it's much safer if we just cycle battle cries and try and get a dragon board going. So I think we're rather strong. We're in a pretty decent spot, but as you all know, with Kalecgos comes, you know, this opponent also has some potential with Firebat brand. We do still lose in the late game unless you have double Kalecgos early, so you just scale exponentially, and then you need a Nadina in order to, you know, give shields to your dragons, obviously. Otherwise, you lose to other divine shields. Plus, on top of that, you can still lose to Amalgadons too. Prester would be a great tech card on our board, but it's a no-mech lobby, so only in a dragon 1v1 I think I would need a Prester. But against most opponents, I don't think I need to hard roll for it. Now, there's a promo Drake, which I was really considering, since we do have a Targosa. Like, it's another dragon on the board instead of the stupid road boar. I'm decided to take it since it is some passive growth. It's just, you know, another dragon instead of something that doesn't scale, and it's gonna stack up onto this Tarragos Sun. Maybe I even find a second Tarragos Sun I could replace the Flat Tusk or the Taunt or the Whelp Smuggler. So I will be cycling some more battle cries here. At first I was rolling a bit, I wasn't taking every single battle cry I find, because that's one thing that people tunnel vision into too much when Kalecgos is on their board. They just like roll and all they want to do is find battle cries, but very often when you just spend all your gold buying battle cries, you won't be able to catch up to the existing high roll and the existing scaling in the game. Just look at elementals and how bullshit they can get in a single turn without even spending money because of Avenge, right? So you can, you know, play for tempo a little bit, play some battle cries, but I prefer to roll for strong battle cries, for ones that actually do give a little bit more in return. Or just set myself up to, you know, high roll even harder, find a brand and go to 6 and play like lookouts and generate a bunch of battle cries and economy that way. Like we still lose to a HysteriA here who just has a single Tarragos that is scaling, because you have a bunch of HP and a bunch of HP isn't good against one big chunky boy. Like we're good against tokenish comps, we're good against yeah, small dudes, jugglers, I don't know, we're good against certain things, but not really just big massive raw stats. For that we still need more attack, so we need the double Kalecgos or the Nadina to help us trade at least twice. And now we're in a spot where I think we have to level. We're facing the ghost, our money works nicely. If I don't level now, I'll never even give myself a chance of leveling again, because I'm gonna face a really strong opponent next, very likely. Now I hope the HysteriA is dead. It's kind of interesting to go dragons with the HysteriA in the lobby, but yeah, we just have one promo, one Tarragos, and then we're doing Kalecgos, right? And Flat Tusk is still on the board as well. I haven't found a better replacement for it yet. I just want to buy a random dragon. That's another thing too many people do. If they find a Kalecgos, they fill their board with dragons. The issue is then if they find Nadina, they would have to sell one of the dragons that they bought and skilled up, or if they find a brand, or they can't play any tech cards, they can't, you know, make their board better. Like, let's say you find a pair onto Kalecgos, then you have to sell one of your skilled up dragons. So try and just play some good dragons. I have like 4 on the board right now, and keep the other spots open for, you know, I have a Whelp Smuggler there, I have a Flat Tusk, I could sell it for Nadina, for McKz, or a Reborn Max Knife I find it, to not just board lock super early on. It might feel like you're losing out on potential and stats, but in the long run, trust me, it's gonna be worth it to, you know, not waste that money too early on. So I'm just gonna cycle battle cries here, economy battle cries as well, and roll on 6. Now, again, I'm just using my stats. I'm spreading them out. I don't like putting all the gems on one card because, again, poison is in the game. There's no Murlocs, but there is Maxa and there is, you know, Amalgadons. This is the insane Eudora, by the way, with the double light thing. Still has a massive cleave and a massive cyclone. Let's see if this massive Tarragos size is going to be enough to value trade the entire board with the health, and it is. We're able to kill the Eudora, who was really strong early on, but wasn't able to compete with the amount of health that we were able to put on our cards. It's so cool to play a Whelp Smuggler comp again. It feels like a couple months back when the card was first introduced that was broken and people just played dragons everywhere. The HysteriA also died, and I rolled a bunch. I was able to find a Nadina, so I'm just gonna, you know, buy this Battle Monster as well. Maybe I could end on it instead of one of these cards. Second Flat Tusk is obviously bait. Now McKz is really interesting. It does just, you know, trigger Nadina a second time since I have no other battle cries on the board, so I'll go for it. And now what do I sell, the Flat Tusk or the Whelp Smuggler? I think Whelp Smuggler, since Flat Tusk is just a bigger body. I should have played my gems first. I realized that right after I did it. I lose some HP now, but yeah, I should have played the gems and then sold the Smuggler, because next turn we're selling the Flat Tusk anyway. So next turn both cards will be gone, so I'd rather keep the bigger stat line of Flat Tusk. And I think we should be really strong, but we're facing a guy with Golden Reborn Goldrin, double Reborn Max, a fish, and a Golden Baron. Scabs, please, when is Scabs getting that nerf? So yeah, we do lose to that. It's actually kind of close somewhat. I don't know, the fish was still alive, but that is just an insanely strong board, and that is just Scabs for you. Now the other guy died to Ghost, so I'm trying to figure out how we beat that, and realistically I think it is incredibly hard. We need a Zap. I rolled a bunch in case you do find Zap. Now there is a Reborn that I was heavily considering in case I find Max now, but I wasn't sure, you know, if I don't find Max now, it's wasted money. And even if I find it, I would have to double sell in order to Reborn it. We did find Max now, so I'm kind of losing it, but, you know, I'm still taking it since I am replacing this Flat Tusk. It's still been on my board, it's just been okay, but it definitely has to go out for something actually useful now. If I would have to Reborn, I guess I would sell my Promo Drake, but then what do I replace my Promo Drake with? So it becomes like awkward position. Is it worth it to do it? And No, probably yes, but I wasn't willing to take that risk. So I'm playing around Cleave now, putting the Nadina next to Taunt in case he puts his Cleave earlier. They found another bird, so they now have double Macaw. And I also played a little bit for stats. I was looking at the breakpoints and they lined up okay on most of the dragons, but yeah, they just became a whole lot bigger, and now nothing trades anymore on my board. And it's a second place, but this is a very clean second place, very fun game as well with cool interactions with Kael'thas nonetheless. Let's remember, I didn't stay on one, didn't do Avenge. I just played a very classic and fun Kael'thas game. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.